What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Just to start off, a big shout out and thank you to all of the sort of comments and interactions that we got across our social media platforms and on YouTube for the last Sorare video that we did. I'm going to try and do these more frequently. I can't guarantee that they're going to come out every week before lock. But, I'm going to try and do these because they are fun to make and I like seeing it and having a chat with you guys just about Sorare NBA in general and everything that sort of this product has to offer right now. I think it's really engaging within the whole space of the NBA. And I think that although we're in game week sort of 18 now, we're still very much at the sort of the start and the base of the product, and we can see how far it can grow. And I want to do some content for this. So yeah, just to prefix before we jump into all of the lineups, some of the rewards, and a few other things ahead of game week 18. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and also if you can leave a like and even a comment on what you potentially maybe want to see us do, me and the boys. That would be great. Anyway, let's jump into the lineups. Right, so moving into my my gallery and sort of my lineups for the upcoming week, I don't know if I'm very different to everyone else, or if I presume everyone does this potentially in the same way as I do. Whenever the game week sort of locks and then the new one starts, I always jump straight in and sort of build my teams as would. So this is the first week in which rare and super rare have the restrictions put in, so you can only play rare cards or super rare cards in those lineups, in those competitions. So as I'm looking at my team now for my rare champion, I have Jaylen Brown. He has a 1 game. It's against the Pacers. It's not ideal having 1 games. I've trained him up to 18% now, though. He's been averaging around the sort of, obviously his L10 is 47, but he's around the 50 mark. If Tatum's out, you'd expect a higher outperformance from Jaylen Brown. But I can live with it for this week. It's not the worst thing, especially in a week where I think rare champion's not going to have as many entrants. We've got 1,343. What did we have last time? If we just quickly scroll to the past, all tournaments, rare champion 2,176. So there is a slight downtick, and that's to be expected because you can't now play 2 limited cards, which a lot of people were doing. And as such, that's also why I think that they've reduced the rewards count on rare contender in general anyway. Because yeah, we're looking at, am I on this one now upcoming? Yeah, we're looking at 1,343 and 2,000 rare contender. But anyway, back to my rare champion lineup. Jaylen Brown, I'm fine with my MVP. Kelly Oubre Jr., he's lost his starting lineup place, which a lot of people on Twitter were somewhat concerned about. I'm not really worried about it on the premise of that ever since he has lost this, he's still playing easily over 30 minutes a game. I think there's some injury doubts now on the Hornets. He's not one of them. I think it was Terry Rozier went down. So he's a doubt. But even so, even if he comes back in and he doesn't regain his starting place, I'm not worried about Kelly Oubre. He's still going to be getting 30 to 32 minutes a night for them. Obviously, if it goes to overtime, he'd get more. He's still one of their main go-to guys. I know LaMelo is now back. Gordon Hayward's back, and they've got some other nice little pieces. The Hornets aren't great anyway, but in terms of general on Sorare scores, Kelly Oubre Jr. is just fine. I'm not really worried about him. Gary Trent Jr., I know he's questionable. He got a DNP for me in the contender last week. He's questionable for the Philly game. I'm not even sure he'll play that. I'm optimistic he plays in the Knicks, and right now he'll be playing for me in this lineup. I am looking at a Jared Allen. If I can find one for the right place, for the right price, then I'll swap him out for Jared Allen because I think he's really good for this week. But for now, I'm going to stick with him. Miles McBride, I won him back ages ago as a tier 5 reward because of Cam Reddish. He's now in the lineups. Again, an L10 of 9. If he gets 9, I'm fine with it. But there is scope for him and there is a ceiling for him to get in around the high like 10s, which is fine for an L10 of that. I'll take it. And who knows if the Knicks get absolutely, I mean, they're on a 7-game win streak at the moment. But if the Knicks get absolutely, if they get like absolutely battered and they go into garbage time, I'm fine with having Miles McBride at an L10 of 9 in this lineup. The last one I am concerned about now, Jeremy Grant. Since Dame has come back, he's still been a good scorer for them, but his numbers have dwindled recently, and you can see it in the stats here. From he was putting in these high 40s, low 50s. It's trickled down. Dame come back, and then he's reached a 33 in his last 5. That is concerning, especially at an L10 of 39. They have got 2 games against the Thunder this week, but he's one to watch. I've got him up for sale at the moment. If something comes in where I like the price for him that someone offers me, I'll probably take it. So he's the one that I'm slightly concerned about. But 2 games against the Thunder, there is potential Dame sits one of them. You never know. I'm fine with playing him. My gallery in terms of rares isn't stretched as is, so that's fine. Anyway, we'll jump straight into Red Contender as well. I'll keep you with me. Andrew Wiggins, I haven't caught the 410 on if he's back or not. I know he's been in shoot-arounds, but he was enclosed the last time that the Warriors came out when Jordan Poole put up that silly score of 40 plus or whatever it was. I'm hoping he's back. There is a back-to-back, so he won't play in both of them. There's not a chance. But I'm hoping he plays in one, primarily as well with Steph out. The Warriors, they're not concerned about it. Realistically, they are deep enough in those areas, but Steph being out is a big blow for them in general. I'm hoping Wiggins comes back because at an L10 of 33, I'm expecting him to outperform that, especially because his usage rate would fly up because of it. Yeah, he's capable of those 57s, those 49s, those 60s. So an L10 of 33 in Rare Contender, I'm really happy with that. Nembhard, he's been quite disappointing realistically since this Steph Curry score. I bought Nembhard back months ago. I paid like 20 quid for him. I think he's over 100 now. I'm not looking for Nembhard to consistently get 61s. That's not why I bought an Andrew Nembhard. He's a rookie card. He has a starting place in the Pacers. You know, he's a young guy. He's gonna do really well in the league. He's capable of them, and even if he gets the mid 30s, high 30s, that's still great. L10 of 27 is quite high for Nembhard. It isn't what you should be expecting. He's going to be most consistently around the high 10s, the low 20s. That's where he's going to get. But, you know, this will slowly tick down. The 9, the 8, the 14, that will help rebalance his L10 over time. But again, my rare gallery isn't stretched, so he's fine there. Jose Alvarado, again, he's quite similar to Nembhard on the basis of that he might have that one night where 56 is a massive outlier. That was his highest performance ever. You're looking more of the high 20s, mid 30s of what Alvarado can get you. At 23 L10, it's still good. But these will all balance out at the 9, the 2, the 14, the 12. A double game week in this one. The Spurs fixture in particular, potentially if Giannis, Chris Middleton and such sit out in the Bucks game, you know, you could see Alvarado pick up some decent score. Dwight Powell I picked up last week, in fact, just to sort of fill some space in on Rare Contender, which didn't matter to me because I had that DMP on Gary Trent. But again, Dwight Powell, an L10 of 11, I'm not sure if he'll continue in his starting role for the Mavs. He'll always get certain minutes. He'll always, you know, get a couple of buckets from Luka throwing up a nuke or something like that. But for an L10 of 11, a back-to-back against Minnesota, I think Rudy Gobert's a doubt as well. So there's potential there of that, you know, not usage rate's going to go up for anybody else in the Mavs apart from Luka. Maybe Spencer Dinwiddie gets a couple of tries, but he's there for an 11 L10 in Rare Contender. If you can get the 20, you're doubling your L10. You'll take that all day long. The same thing with Metu. Metu. I'm not actually quite sure how that's pronounced, but we'll roll with it anyway. The backup 5 at the Kings. Again, he's capable of the 20s. 27's an outlier. An L10 of 11. I won him again a couple of weeks ago. If he does 11, I'll take it. There is scope, obviously, where if the Kings are in a close game, he's not going to get much minutes at all. And obviously, even when he's on the court, the Kings don't necessarily play around their 5 anyway, but not with Metu on the court. If they've got Sabonis going, then it's a bit different. But yeah, I mean, that's me for Rare Contender. If I get something come through, if I look at a last-minute deal, potentially I'd swap. If I get Jared Allen, I'd probably swap out Nembhard for Gary Trent Jr., or I'd look to upgrade Dwight Powell or Metu for someone around the L10 or 16. I'm going to dive into Sorare Data in a moment anyway, and we'll check those out. So I'll have a look at if there's anyone that I can potentially pick up and improve this lineup. So new for Game Week 18, there is a limited all-offense lineup. I think the rules for this are, if I can get them up, let's jump back here, jump into the middle offense. Details. So eligible scoring categories: points, assists, rebounds, 3-pointers made, double doubles, and triple doubles. So it's not including blocks or steals, essentially. Blocks or steals are the only ones there. That's correct. So I had some cards left over after I did my limited champion, which I'm gonna. There's some little tweak I want to make to that just before I show you it. But Ja Morant will be my MVP. One game again, not great, but the payout in limit offense wasn't great as is. If I just quickly go back to it, pays for the top 230. I mean, you're still looking at a tier 5 there. Realistically, to do anything, you need top 100 finish here, and with almost 4,000 people in there, it's not great odds. I will caveat that with the fact that everyone will be focusing on contender and champion, and then quite a lot of people out of this almost, let's say, 4,000 here will just build a throwaway lineup. Whatever's left in their gallery, click on the top 5 cards to fill it out, and that's it. I'm actually somewhat confident, famous last words, I know, that Ja Morant Nikola Vucevic, he's not renowned for his defense. Vucevic plays absolutely none anyway. He's renowned for his scoring abilities. Landry Shamet is playing tonight because I believe Devin Booker has been ruled out against the Lakers. And then because it's a back-to-back, even if Booker's back, I would expect him to have somewhat of a, not minutes restriction, but Shamet will play more of a role. And at 7.5% due to training, I'm quite happy with that card there in this lineup. Bradley Beal has just come back as well. There is a day break between the games between Phoenix and Utah. So Bradley Beal, again, can easily score 30-plus points for the Wizards. And Buddy Hield, not great, but just the rest of my gallery on the limited side, he fits the L10 perfectly. It is a game against Boston, but Buddy Hield, I would say, can get me 30 points quite comfortably here. Some of these points will include steals and so on and so forth, but as an offensive option, Buddy Hield's not bad. So I'm quietly confident. We will reassess this when I next do a video and probably see that I've came 3,000th or wherever it is in limited offense. But, we'll wait and see. I'm somewhat optimistic about that lineup. Okay, so moving into limited champion now. So this is the team that I built originally. Jared Vanderbilt, the Jazz have got 3 games this game week. Starting center for them realistically now, or forward/center, or however you want to run it with the Jazz that he's been playing. He didn't have a great last game, I believe, 16, but he's got a ceiling where he's capable of the higher to mid 30s, and the 49's an outlier, but with 3 games, I'm expecting him to perform better than his L10 of 27. Joel Embiid, double games, Toronto and Detroit, 60 L10. The guy's absolutely bossing it this year. There is MVP shouts for him. I don't think he's my MVP for it personally, but I'm very, very happy with Embiid. Julius Randle, again, been superb for the Knicks in terms of Sorare scoring. That's a tongue twister there. Consistently putting up big numbers, lots and lots of dark greens. 2 games against the Golden State Warriors, who are, like I've said before, they're down. They don't like defending against bigs anyway. And the Raptors, well, not necessarily great against bigs. So I'm hopeful. And the Knicks are on a 7-game win streak, so their confidence is sky high. So I'm hopeful with Randall. The issue that I'm looking at now is I'm not really liking Bruce Brown. I'm not really liking Chris Boucher in a limited champion lineup, especially for their L10s, 26 and 21. It's just close to the mean of what they'll get. Bruce Brown, especially when Jokic and Jamal Murray are playing, he gets pushed that sort of small forward position that he's still good in, but he's better if he's running as a guard. Chris Boucher, he gets a lot of minutes off the bench for the Raptors. He's never going to start for them for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below. He'll get the odd double-double, but he'll normally get like 9 points, 8 rebounds, which is good. Maybe a block, maybe a steal. But he's never really going to outperform that much on the 27. The ceiling's not that high, but the floor isn't really that low either with Chris Boucher. And that's not what you really want in limited champion. So when I was looking at my gallery, I noticed that I've got a Nick Richards, but I've also got a Jalen Duren, who I played last week. Now, Jalen Duren's at an L10 and 19. I know he dropped 37, which was 40 for me in my rare contender lineup, in my limited contender lineup, sorry, because that's what was my only reward last week. If I slot Jalen Duren in, that then gives me an L10 of 29, essentially, to play with it, of this slot. So the way in which and this is also what I'd recommend to you guys if you're building your lineups and you're not sure who you want to get. If you move over to, and this is the tool to use in general for anything Sorare. The guys at Sorare Data, they've built a fantastic platform. If you jump over into the SO5 and then you go Gameweek Center. Now, I don't do too much on the football side. I played the Sorare Global Cup. I came 1,500th overall, so I've got some rewards that will be at the end of this video for that. But on the basketball side, Gameweek 18, you then switch over to projections. And now, like I said before, I had an L10 of 29 to play with. So I'd adjust this here, and then I can see who every L10 player who's under 29 that could fit in my lineup. Now, this is what the best projected score is. So Christian Wood, 28 L10, 38. There's various factors that go into this. I believe it all comes from RotoWire. That might be the minutes projection. I'm not sure what algorithms taking what, but it gives you the general scope. They're projecting 38 on a 28. So I scrolled down this earlier and I had a look, and I quite like the look of, and obviously there's lots and lots of people that do this, and this will affect the players' prices. So when you go into this and you have a look at Christian Wood, he's £22, and you have a look, he spikes in price. So there's been a move of that. It might have affected from his last SO5 score. because I know he did well. Yeah, he got that dark green 62. So there's multiple factors here. So you wouldn't want to jump necessarily on a Christian Wood right now in terms of looking from if you want to buy him and looking at his price in general. None of this is financial advice. I'm just merely stating my opinion. But anyway, I'll jump back to in general this. So I was scrolling down, looking at my alternative 29. Where is he now? I'm not going to be able to find him now, am I? That's going to be the great one. If we go Bosch, Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. Jump you straight onto him so I can show you him as well. So again, L10 29. We look at his SO5s. Medium greens around the course. He's got the ceiling to get dark greens. I know this is jumping back into last year, but still. He's got 2 nice games against the Hawks and the Rockets, and then he's still got nice games to come. Spurs. The Lakers I'm even putting as a nice game this year, especially with AD out now for a month. Pistons, Wizards, Thunder. All good games. The Magic are on somewhat of a confidence boost at the moment. Paolo Banchero is playing great. The Magic just got that double against the Celtics. They're on a good run of form. His price hasn't necessarily spiked across it all. It's sort of at the median that you would expect. You can move this into pounds as you wish. So I'm going to go and pick up a Wagner right now on the market. So if I jump back into Sorare, let's go and pick him up. Franz Wagner. Cards, limited, lowest price. So we can see here now. So again, as a potential little tip, if none of you guys know, the percentage here, this will lose at the end of the season. You will lose that 5%, but this guy's trained him up for a little bit more on a 1.5. So I'll lose half of that. I'll lose a 0.5%. But for the fact of 40p, I'd rather have that extra percent, as that can make all the difference when you're looking at those 0.2 points in a leaderboard. So I will scoop that up now. There we go. It might take a second just to transfer over to me. So okay, I'll jump back to this when we have him in the lineups. It might even be here if I go into it. He's here. Okay. So yeah, so like I said, I can get rid of Bruce Brown and Chris Boucher. And now I can slot in Franz Wagner and Jalen Duren. And I think this lineup in general is looking a lot stronger than it was before. These 2 games against the Hawks and the Rockets are very good. He's capable of those high score ceilings of the 30s, which you want. And we'll wait and see. Last but no means least, let's jump into limited contender. Now, this isn't going to be a great lineup for me this week. We are going to play Nick Richards. We are going to play Corey Joseph. Oh god, this is really looking stretched. Cam Reddish is in the gulag. Marvin Bagley, we will slot in there. I know he's lost his starting lineup place to Jalen Duren, but he's still capable of those 20s. And if Jalen Duren's not performing so well, maybe they'll go for Bagley one night, and he'll get that chance again. We'll slot Bruce Brown in as well, just so I can save it. And then we've got an L10 of 33. So I'm going to jump back into Sorare Data, have a look to see who I can get, and pick somebody up. Okay, so after doing some scouting on Sorare Data, I've quite like the look of Scotty Barnes right now. He's at one of the lowest prices he's been in a couple of weeks. Multitude of factors for this. The Raptors haven't been doing particularly great, but NBA team scores necessarily don't always translate very well across with Sorare scores anyway. So I'm not particularly too fussed by that. I am going to pick up the one that's 9p more expensive for that extra percent on the card. 20 quid's not too bad when you look at some of these offers that were there before. So we'll scoop him up right now. Wait for that to go through, and then we'll go and do you know what? Let's check if it's there now for us. We'll go limited contender. So where was we before? Scotty Barnes is there, so we'll slide him into the lineup. Bruce Brown we had in, Marvin Bagley III we had in, Nick Richards we had in, and then we was also playing Corey Joseph. Now Corey Joseph again was someone that I won recently. That's bugged. He definitely didn't score 0 across the last few. He got 20 for me in a limited contender lineup. So, but we've maxed out the L10. It's not the strongest limited contender lineup you're going to see this week, but it will do for me. I'll quickly show you as well my common champion stuff. I should take AD out because that's what I had before. We'll slot AD out. We'll have LeBron in there. Luka then becomes MVP. We can then upgrade. Wendell Moore Jr. will play. We'll upgrade Ken Birch. So we've got, 13 to play with? Who have we got here? Caleb Houston. Caleb Houston works for me. What's he been getting as the rookie? Okay, this is bad. That just brought up Jason Tatum for me. But we'll roll with this. And then also common contender. We'll quickly build a lineup for this. 22 here. Where are we going with 22? Colin Sexton's got 20. It's got 3 games at 24. We'll take that. Same with Alexander Walker. Pokusevski's got an 18 L10. It's giving us 23. Can we get a good cheap guy here? It's Kendrick Nunn. Did Kendrick Nunn see minutes last time? No. Frank Kaminsky, Matisse Thybulle. He did start a couple of games for. Yeah, he did start a couple of games for the Sixers. We'll play Matisse Thybulle. That gives us 41. Have we got a big dog? Do you know what? We'll throw Bradley Beal 8%. We'll throw over Drew Holiday there. That'll do our common contender lineup. Is there another common all defense? So I suspect this will be the opposite to common to all-star offense or whatever it was called. Okay, so we're gonna want guys that will get blocks and steals. Alex Caruso will slot in there. Oh, it's an MVP tier. Okay, right. So we will go with Drew Holiday in this. We'll go with Kristaps. We'll go with Zion, and then that leaves us with 17 left, and that fits us Doug McDermott. Has he been playing, or has he still got his sprained ankle? No, he's been playing. He's back, so we'll go with that. We'll slot that in as well, and then that leaves us all our lineups. Do not forget to do training as well. Big tip. Training is key. If you're not playing anybody, you can also filter this out. So we'll get rid of them if they're using a lineup. If they're not playing for you in any of your teams, make sure you're doing your training, because this is what boosts up their percentage points or their training level for you. And that's their XP boost. So whatever their score is, it's a percentage of that is boosted on top. And that can be the difference in these lineups where you miss out by a tier by 0.5 of a point or whatever it is. So make sure you do this. All you have to do, make sure you have a couple of players playing. Don't just field 5 people that are DMPs, because you won't get anything on top of that. I'd suggest doing a mix of either 3 and 2 or 4 and 1, but the best is 5 and 0 if you can. Okay, so we'll jump into some rewards now. So we did play the I don't do the football side of Sorare. I'm just the NBA side. But we did play in the Sorare Global Cup. We did do quite well on this. I've got 3 rewards. Last week wasn't great. Emmy Martinez not many getting 5s and 10s, but overall, we did place in the top. 4,200. That is, I think overall we was 1,526, which gives us a tier 1 limited on the football side, which I'm not going to keep. I'm going to sell, but we'll go through this. They've picked up the new card drops, so we'll take Gavardio. He had a good World Cup. And we will also take, I believe keepers are quite hard to come by actually. So we're going to take take that guy just for the 46. Anyway, let's jump into the rewards. See who we get here. So we've got tier 1 common, a global cup card, and then the tier 1 limited that is obviously sellable. So in terms of the global cup, France defender, is that another Varane? No. No idea. Absolutely no idea. The National Series cards, Ghanaian defender, Amati. Salisu, 617th. I'm not sure what the outside parts mean in terms of the numbers. I believe like the diamonds, the top 10 or 100 of them. But anyway, the global cup tier 1 limited, I just want him to be worth as much as possible. Argentina, forward from Racing Club or Racing Point, Capetti. Absolutely no idea if that's good. Let's quickly, do you know what? We'll jump over to Sorare Data. It was Capetti, wasn't it? Enzo Capetti from Racing Club. 35 quid. We take that all day long. He is injured, but we can definitely sell that card. And that's essentially just paid for the Scotty Barnes that was acquired. So we'll take that all day long. He'll get listed up. And yeah. I don't know if are the NBA rewards out yet. Oh no, that was a little spoiler there. Are the NBA rewards out yet? No. If I have the NBA rewards before the lock, then I'll potentially put this on the video. If not, they'll be on my Twitter at George_St Ledger, or on the Swingman account's Twitter at SwingmanPod. Make sure you're following us on there. Thank you very much for watching this video. As I said, please do hit the subscribe button. It really does help us out. Please leave us a like. It helps us out more than you could imagine. I'm going to try and do more of these Sorare videos and breakdowns across the coming weeks. Potentially some live streams a bit closer to the lock and stuff like that. But yeah, for now, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Peace.